Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, I came across this and I thought it might well strike as interesting, especially amongst my Igbo followings, a lot of whom I have. So I thought this might well strike as interesting, as guys, I bring you this. Only 6 Nigerians signed the amalgamation document. No Igbo was amongst them. So there you have it now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to 1914, when Nigeria had the 2 protectorates, of course, because we had the Northern Protectorate and we had the Southern Protectorate. But then, of course, in 1914, I think it was around about March thereabout, the 2 protectorates, rather, not conglomerates but protectorates. The 2 protectorates, the northerns and the southern, were merged together to form one country which we now know as Nigeria. But apparently, allegedly, no Igbo man was amongst the people who put pen to paper to sign the formation of the country called Nigeria. Again, only 6 Nigerians signed the amalgamation document. No Igbo was amongst them. So now let's now see how this happened. Many Nigerians have asked if there were parties from the southern and northern protectorates that partook in the declaration of Nigeria, or did the British on their own sign the document in the absence of the people involved? Southern and northern protectorates were joined to form Nigeria in 1914. By then, the nationalists we know now were still too little to know anything about it. Nnamdi Azikiwe was only 10 years old, Ahmedu Bello was only 4, and Obafemi Awolowo was 5 years old then. So the question remains, which Nigerians signed the amalgamation document? There were only 28 individuals involved in the forceful amalgamation of the South and North Protectorate. Out of the 28, only 6 were Nigerians. The rest were all British citizens. Lord Lugard, the first Governor General, led the amalgamation. He was the one who proposed it in the first instance, and the final signature was his. So here are now the names of the Nigerians that were involved. So here you have it now. So I'll run you through the names of the Nigerians. There were 28 people, as you've already heard, but most of them were British citizens. They were Europeans, they were English people. So 22 out of the 28 were British, but the Nigerians that put pen to paper to seal the fate of that country are first. Number 1, His Royal Highness Maturere Sakim Musulumi, the Sultan of Sokoto. So that's the first person, not the first as in the first amongst equal, but the first on the list, so it's just in random order. So the first name to come up is Royal Highness Maturere Sakim Musulumi, the Sultan of Sokoto. So a northerner there. So now number 2, Usman Dan Majay, who later became the Emir of Kano. So a second northern name, Usman Dan Majay. And this person, he was not the Emir of Kano then, but he subsequently became the Emir of Kano. So now we head to the south, and the first name we come across in the south is Sir Kitoye Ajasa, a lawyer. So a Yoruba man, already an intellectual as far back as 1914. You don't get more Yoruba than Kisoye Ajasa. So he's one of the 6 names that signed the formation of Nigeria. So onwards we go on to the next name, His Royal Highness Henshaw Obong of Calabar. So Calabar, of course, south, nothing at all to do with the Igbos. So the Obong of Calabar at that time, His Royal Highness R. Henshaw. So His Royal Highness R. Henshaw Obong of Calabar is the 5th of the 6 names on this list. So the seventh name now that we come across now, is this going to be an Igbo name? Most likely not. We already know that there's no Igbo name on the list. So the sixth name now is Abubakar Shehu, the Shehu of Borno. So Abubakar Shehu of Borno is the sixth name that rounds off the 6 Nigerian names that signed and sealed the fate of the country and signed and sealed your faith as you listen to this video now. So those are the names. His Royal Highness Maturere Sake Musulumi, the Sultan of Sokoto, Usman Danmaje, who later became the Emir of Kano, Sakitoye Ajasa, a lawyer, His Royal Highness, sorry, I missed out a name in that list. I do beg your pardon. I gave you 5 names, and how could I have missed out a name? So here is the name that I missed out on. His Royal Highness Oludugbolu Alaafin of Oyo. So that is the name that rounds it off. I do beg your pardon. I'm sure a lot of you would have been counting, but that is the name that I skipped. His Royal Highness Oludugbolu Alaafin of Oyo. So it's just as well that I chose to recount it. Otherwise, I would have missed that name, and you guys would have been telling me off in the comment section. So His Royal Highness Oludugbolu Alaafin of Oyo. So now the 3 southern names, Sakitoye Ajasa, the Alaafin of Oyo, and the Obong of Calabar, and the rest were northern names. So absolutely no Igbo involvement in the amalgamation of Nigeria. These were the Nigerians present at the amalgamation. They were ceremoniously there. From the names above, you will notice that no Igbo man was present in the amalgamation of Nigeria, despite the Igbos having powerful kings like the Obi Okosi of Onitsha, Eze Nre Obiliki, etc. The reason was not far-fetched. The Igbos fought strongly against the British rule, and they were never in support of their system. Lagos colony was also against the amalgamation, as at then. The British were more comfortable to deal with the Fulanis/Northerners. That is the reason there were more Fulanis/Northerners during the amalgamation. So, the saying that Northerners want to always rule Nigeria did not just start today. It was positioned so by the British. Even the location of the amalgamation was also located in the north. So there you have it now, the history of Nigeria, how the country was birthed. So now you can now see now why the Igbos are so aggrieved in terms of how they are being treated within the Nigerian space. This is an arrangement, a pact that they never signed up for. This is something that was foisted on them, and this is something now that is being used to hold them in a vice grip ever since. So ever since 1914, the Igbos have been marginalized from the Nigerian state, and as you listen to the sound of this video now, the Igbos continue to be marginalized within the Nigerian state. So that is the narrative now, but the greater narrative is out of the 28 people that are birthed the country called Nigeria, only 6 are actually born and bred within the geographical space, and their roles within that formation amalgamation were largely ceremonial. The idea, of course, of the amalgamation was a Lugard idea. So here is the story now, and there is the story of the Nigerian space from birth till date, and it is a story of continuous marginalization of the Igbo people. So the takeaways that we can't take away, one of the bits that I picked up on was, of course, Kitoye Ajasa, a lawyer. That is how he was described. Because if you look through the names of the other 6 that signed this document, the Sultan of Sokoto, Emir of Kano, Alaafin of Oyo, Obong of Calabar, Shehu of Borno. So Sir Kitoye Ajasa is the only private individual that was part of the 6 that signed the formation of the Nigerian state. So what propels him, and what propelled him, and what status did he achieve in life to be so positioned to be part of the either godly or ungodly Sikhs, however you weigh in the Nigerian conundrum. So that's the narrative of the birthing of the Nigerian state, a story that has started off with the exclusion of the Igbos and continues thus. So come share thoughts about all this with me in the comment section. But before you come share those thoughts, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all the clickings, come join me then in the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of this now Igbo exemption right from birth. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.